our final day of healthy-ish for the holidays. I'm so glad you stuck around. I hope that you liked today's tip. That your treats that you choose at this time of the year should be at least an 8 out of 10 on the deliciousness scale. My friend Sarah taught me that, and it was such a great, um, just such a great kind of like visual for me. And I'm like, oh yeah, like no, that's not really worth it. I'm going to pick the things that I really love. So I am very excited because I wanted to share this with you guys. You've hung around for the last week. I appreciate you. You've been in this community, this happy, healthy community, which will continue to run with a short free challenge or a workshop just like this throughout 2025. This is me just giving back some of the energy and love and good health and all the things that I've gained over the last decade. I just love this space for that. But I also want you guys to be the first to know what I have planned for 2025. I might have even put that in the description wrong. It'll probably take me like the first 2 months of 2025 to actually start saying the right year. That's just how I am. But I wanted to come here first and I wanted to tell you guys about this. So I I've worked with women in the health and wellness industry for almost 10 years now. So that's crazy to me. So through partnering, like getting in my own, wellness journey through Beachbody and, that was renamed Body. And I started to become a coach and then a partner. Um, so 10 years I've been in this space and I've heard a lot of things and I've learned a lot of things. I've also gone on and done other certifications in fitness and nutrition. I'm doing a holistic nutrition weight loss coach certification right now as well because I just I get curious, right? Like I'm a researcher. I'm somebody who when I'm going through something, I want to know as much as I can about it and I want to help other people as best I can as well. So over the last like probably 4 years or so, I've heard so many different things and like there's a lot of buzzwords. There's a lot out there right now, about hormone health, right? Gut health. People they're saying their hormones are out of whack, they're imbalanced or whatever. They're saying, you need to fix your gut health. You need to lower your stress. Maybe you should eat no carbs, right? Carbs are the enemy. Cardio is the enemy. You need to change the type of exercise you're doing. You need to do more exercise. You need to do less exercise. You need to take peptides. You need to inject peptides. You need to just fix your willpower. Suck it up and fix your willpower. You need to start meditating. Maybe you need to take these 6 supplements because they're magically going to fix everything. You need to read this diet book. You need to get more sleep and on and on and on, right? And I always felt like that was the biggest thing that held me back when it came to my wellness was being overwhelmed by all of the options, right? And just not knowing where to start and just feeling like, there's like 1,000 different things you can do at once. There's 1,000 different fitness apps. There's 1,000 different diets. There's 1,000 different supplements. Um, and like I said, I've been doing this for almost a whole decade. And well, at the beginning, like, so I was 30, just turned 30 when I started. And the whole like calories in versus calories out, because when it comes to weight loss, that's typically what they would say the general rule is, right? That you want to have more calories going out than coming in, and that will help you get to a calorie deficit and that will help you to lose weight. And that worked well for like the first few years for me. I increased my exercise and I changed the way I was eating so that I was eating a little bit more calorically dense foods. So like things like vegetables and more protein and that sort of thing. Um, and it helped me lose weight. It helped my energy go up. But then for like the last 4 or 5 years, between chronic stress from having a very sick child and being his primary caregiver, and then perimenopause, which is what I was told at 36 when I said, I don't know what's going on, like, but I feel like crap all the time and I'm tired all the time. And, I'm struggling with like this increase in anxiety and I was noticing tracking things around my cycle and I was told, oh, that's just perimenopause. And I was like, but I'm only 36. Like, how long am I going to have to feel this way? Right. And then also the last couple of years working through grief and trauma, I've learned that the whole story when it comes to weight loss is definitely not just calories in versus calories out, right? And not just weight loss, but your energy, your overall wellness. They're holistic, right? The word holistic, aka You need to take into account a whole bunch of factors when it comes to that. But that's when it can start to get overwhelming, because you start being like, well, like I have high cortisol and maybe I'm insulin resistant and, and like I need these supplements for my hormones, and it's okay, right? Like, just too many of the women that I'm speaking to every single day are exhausted, and they're struggling with inflammation, and they're gaining weight, and they're struggling to feel good. And they're frustrated with feeling like what they're doing, like they're doing the right things, or they're doing the things that worked in the past, but they're not seeing the same results that they used to. And if that sounds familiar to you, make sure you keep listening, because I'm pretty excited about this, right? So like for myself, like I noticed the scale was continuing to creep up. I was feeling tired. Like I felt like I was, exercising, so it was giving me energy. I was eating pretty decent. But I was tired. Like I was thinking about a nap not long after I was up for the day. And I'm talking to women all the time who are much like I felt, and I felt like I had like a willpower or a discipline problem. Like I just need to have more willpower. I just need to, be more disciplined about this. I just need to stick with it. I just need to follow through. But, by the time the end of the day came, or the end of the week, or the end of the newest like fad diet or whatever challenge I was doing or whatever, it was kind of that F it mentality, where it was like I just found myself going back to those familiar habits. And that's what a lot of the women I'm talking to are saying as well, that, jumping back into crappy sleep, high stress, emotional eating, being inconsistent with their exercise, and the cycle just kind of goes on and on. And then maybe, they see a woman they know, they work with, or a relative or something, starts to lose weight with something new, a new program or a new diet or supplements or whatever, and they think, well, why can't that be me? Like I want to feel great too. And so then they try it, right? Or they are afraid to waste money on it, because they're like, I don't want to do another thing that doesn't work. And they find themselves starting over and over and over again, and then truly getting discouraged about taking care of themselves. Like they start saying, it's too expensive, it's too time consuming, it's not sustainable because of the way they're going about it. So this is what I've been working on, and this is kind of the premise of it all. You need to understand and realize, it's time that we all realize that the problem is not us. The problem is not you, okay? You don't suck or lack willpower. Your motivation isn't like hiding under some secret rock that you just haven't turned over yet. You're like constantly looking under the rocks, but you can't find that motivation. You don't need to buy another diet book. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars a month on supplements that, promise to fix your hormones. The actual problem is the fitness and diet industry, okay, which I have been a part of for the last 10 years. So that's not lost on me, okay? That industry is designed to make you fail so that you'll keep buying, right? The treadmill that collects dust, or the Peloton that's going to change everything, or the gym membership, if like once I get these classes I'm going to stick to it, or the detox teas or the wraps or the supplements or whatever that you don't even get all the way through, or the shake powder or whatever. Those are part of that industry, and that industry is designed to keep you buying more. Now, I'm not going to get into this in this video, but do I absolutely think that there are things that need to be supplemented? Of course. Do I think you need to be really careful with what you supplement? Of course. Do I think that spending money on, exercise equipment and working out and that sort of thing is so worth it? Absolutely, I do. But if you're not using it, it's not worth it, right? So I was part of that industry by accident, because I came into it, 10 years ago, deciding that it was time that I stopped turning a blind eye to my health, and living in that F it mentality. And I knew that losing like the 50 pounds wasn't going to happen overnight. But I'll be honest, I would have done pretty much anything for a quick fix at that time in my life. Like if somebody had promised me something that was just going to fix it, I was going to fix it like in a couple of days or weeks or whatever, or just by taking a pill and I didn't have to change anything else, I would have been like, yes, because I wanted that thing. I wanted the thing that could help me fix my health and help me lose weight, without having to sweat in the gym, or, have achy muscles, or make sure that, I was drinking enough water or eating enough vegetables. But that was also kind of the best thing that could have ever happened to me was that the journey that I knew I was going to be on wasn't a quick one, because then I could actually go up and down the roller coaster and understand that there was no, first of all, there was no one way to succeed. There was no straight, just direct route to the end results without some bumps in the road, right? And learning that fitness and nutrition and mindset were the keys to the puzzle. I changed the way I thought, and I changed the way our family lived, and I changed the trajectory of my health, because I can't imagine like 10 years ago I was on a completely different trajectory. Now, mind you, this is where this kind of takes, you might be like, oh, that's great. Good job, Lindsay. You've stayed consistent with it. But then, it only took a couple of bumps in the road. The last, couple of years, it was within a year that I lost my dad suddenly. It shook our world. And then within that same year, our 13-year-old was hit by a car, right? And those two things helped me realize that I had some serious unfinished healing business to do when it came to my wellness. And that the dreaded self-sabotage cycle I had managed to get myself out of years ago was back rearing its ugly head. And this is another thing that I'm hearing the women that I talk to a lot are feeling frustrated with themselves, because they're like, I just, I'm doing great, and then I mess it up, or I quit, or I give up, or I can't stick with it, or I'm good until lunch, or I'm good until dinner, or I'm good until Friday. They feel like failures, and they feel frustrated, or they're going through menopause or perimenopause and dealing with hormonal imbalances on top of everything else, and it just feels like the icing on top of the crap cake, right? And then I'm hearing so much of this, like getting back into that I'll start again on Monday mindset, emotional eating, feeling like nothing is working, and that you're destined to feel tired and overweight and stressed forever. Now, if any of that is ringing a bell, again, keep listening. So when Body, back in, the 2 days before my birthday, the 2 days before my 40th birthday, so the very end of September, decided to change their business model, it was the scariest and yet best thing that could have happened to me. I've been processing this a lot, but it really released me from being in a bubble in some ways. Like, I still love the workouts. I still really do think the supplements are fantastic. I like the trainers. The community is amazing. Like, I will never, I have nothing bad to say about it, but it allowed me to kind of be open and honest with myself that there isn't only one way to do things, right? And to continue to drive home that it does not have to be complicated. We're overcomplicating the health thing. We're overcomplicating the weight loss thing. But it does require a completely different approach. Okay, if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're not seeing the same results, that's that light bulb, right? That's how I came up with this happy, healthy, healing 4-week mentorship that I am going to launch in January. And the goal of this 4 weeks is to help you build a strong foundation for your wellness, starting with your mindset, so that you stop self-sabotaging your health efforts, to help you ditch the diet mentality, that, one that is really designed to keep you stuck, and to find freedom when it comes to your food, to trust yourself again with your choices and stop feeling like you're failing, so you can finally make wellness your lifestyle, right? Like, when I started, that's what I said. I'm like, well, I want to make it a lifestyle, but I didn't really know what that meant, and I didn't know what that would encompass. I learned that it meant, that it becomes consistent for me, and that I want to do it. And then it's not like some days are still a struggle, of course, but like that I'm not fighting myself 24/7 to do it, that I understand why I'm doing it. So, and also like where exercise is done because you enjoy it, and food is eaten because it fuels you, right? And so you can stop overthinking all the time about food. You'll retrain your brain and reset your body. And you'll learn that there is easy, no nonsense nutrition that you'll want to follow. So that's the big thing, right? Like, a lot of us have some pretty basic understanding of like what foods make us feel better and what foods don't make us feel better. But why aren't we sticking with the foods that make us feel better? Why are we finding ourselves, constantly, like when we're in a pinch or when we're stressed out or when we're in a hurry, grabbing the food that makes us feel even crappier, right? So it'll help you work through that, and this nutrition that you'll want to follow, because you'll understand it. And you'll also learn how to do something really important, which is to balance your blood sugar. And this is something that a lot of us are walking around with. You've probably heard words like insulin resistance, or you're hearing about, there's a lot of things like GLP-1 and all sorts of now there's kind of like buzzwords about people who are using peptides, they think like orally or whatever, and they're trying to, that's essentially what they're trying to do, is balance their blood sugar. But you can actually do that with lifestyle changes and diet changes that aren't going to drive you crazy. I don't like to cook, right? So like, so I'm coming from a place of like, let's make this as easy and painless as possible. Let's figure out what the easiest way to do this is, so that we'll learn how to balance our blood sugar, so that we naturally turn into fat burners with a healthier gut and happy hormones. Like, who doesn't want that, right? Like, all these things are interconnected with each other. So with this mentorship, you will be back in the driver's seat of your health. And to me, that's like the best. You'll understand kind of the science and the reason behind what you're doing, and it will help you heal your relationship with yourself. You can't hate yourself healthy, right? Like, that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned. And it also doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to lose some weight, to get yourself feeling more energetic, more. I think that was also a big thing that held me back for a long time, to get out of that feeling like stuck and feeling inflamed and feeling exhausted till the end of time. So I'm actually going to drop, this has gone on way, this video has been way longer than I'd hoped it would be, but I'm going to drop, there is a really short Google form. If you might have interest in joining me for this mentorship, I'm going to put you just have to put your name and email in so that I can contact you with details about it as I am setting this all up. But it's going to be fantastic. We are going to have, it's going to be 4 weeks. Like I said, you're going to go through it. You're probably going to find yourself losing weight and feeling more energetic and feeling fantastic by a happy byproduct of this little bit of, mindset changes and shifts that we're going to do that you've probably never done before. I'm not going to say probably, you haven't done this before. Because if you did, then you would be feeling, better, and you'd be in more consistent habits. So I'll drop that form info down there, and I appreciate you. If you did stick around and watch this, I'm going to be sharing more about this with everybody now that you guys have had the first kind of sneak peek into what I am doing, what I'm working on for the new year. But I think if you have been doing the same thing and you've been getting the same lack of results, now is the time to try something that is just a completely different way of thinking, of actually working with your body instead of trying to work against it all the time, and working with your brain instead of working against it all the time. Okay, thanks so much, guys, for joining me for this week. I wish you the merriest Christmas and Happy New Year, happy holidays, and thanks again. Take care.